Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song called Good Golly, Miss Molly by Little Richard. And it starts out with this cool little bass line where you can play 3rd fret on the low E, 2nd on the A, 5th on the A, 2nd on the D, and then 5th on the A. So it's kind of a G, G, B, B, D, D, E, D. It's kind of that G bass line. D, D, E, D is kind of that bass line. And that idea, actually, if you're kind of digging on that, you could actually kind of follow the chord progression that way and do that 4 times. And then we move that idea to the 3rd fret on the A string for kind of a C note. And you can kind of do that twice. And then we go back to the G note and kind of do that twice. And then from there, then we go to kind of a D note on the A string 5th fret and take that same idea of, it's 5, 5, 4, 4, 7, 7, 4, 7. And then we go back to the C. And then we go back to the G. So you might want to kind of follow those through that intro part. Or you could back that up with chords. And we'd start on a G major chord. When you play G major, first finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret, and 3rd finger on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret, pinky on the high E string 3rd fret, and playing your G major that way. Or you could use a G7 chord. When we play G7, first finger goes to the high E on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the A string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G7 chord and it sounds really nasty. Or if you're digging on bar chords, you could do this as a 3rd fret bar, 2nd finger on the G string 4th fret, 3rd finger on the A string 5th fret, and the pinky on the D string 5th fret. And if you strum all those together, that's another way you can play your G major. Or you could lift off your pinky and make that a G7 chord. Or if you're wanting to get kind of jazzy with this, you could use something called a G13, where you do the first finger on the low E 3rd fret, 2nd finger on the D string 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the G string 4th fret, and the pinky over the high E and the B string on the 5th fret, and make that a G13 chord. I'm kind of muting out the A string on that chord. And we do that 4 times on the G, and then we go to a C major chord. When we play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about taking the pinky and adding it in on the G string 3rd fret and making that a C7, C dominant 7. Or you can make it a C9 by doing the first finger on the D string 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the A string on the 3rd fret, and 3rd finger over the G, B, and E string on the 3rd fret. Cool voicing for the C too. And then from the C we go back to our G major, and then we do another G major. And then from the G we go to a D major chord. And the way you play D major, first finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about using a D7 chord, where you do your first finger on the B string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the high E the 2nd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D7 chord and it sounds really nasty. Or you could use a D9 chord, where you do your first finger on the D string 4th fret, 2nd finger on the A string 5th fret, and 3rd finger over the G, B, and E, and kind of the same shape we're doing for the C9. It's a D9 because we're on 4th and 5th frets. And then from the D we go back to C, and then we go back to our G chord. And then we kind of do kind of a big hit on the G, where you may want to do kind of a down and kind of kill the strings. Now a lot of times with a song like this though, to make it more interesting, I like using something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the G and tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So we tried that through our intro progression. We'd have the G down, up, down, up, 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 C down, up, down, up, C down, up, down, up, G down, up, down, up, G down, up, down, up, D down, up, down, up, C down, up, down, up, G down, up, down, a big G with a down, kill it. Now, and then from there, we'll be going into kind of our main chorus part, which is that same progression, but we kind of play through that last G. Now something else I think about adding to the song though is bass notes, and a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, you can throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the G you'd have the low E for the bass, on the C you'd have the A for the bass, and when we get to it on the D, if you're doing the D major root position, the D string for the bass. If you're digging on that D9, you can do the A string for the bass. So we tried that next, or our chorus with our basses. We'd have G with low E bass, G with low E bass, low E bass, low E bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass, low E bass, low E bass, an A bass, or D bass, C with an A bass, G low E bass, G low E bass. And then from that chorus, then we go into our first verse. So, and our first verse starts out with some hits on the G. You may want to start out with just kind of that big G with a down hit, and another G, and another G, and then we kind of pick it back up on our C chord, C, G, low E bass, G, low E bass, D with an A bass, C with an A bass, G, low E bass, G, low E bass. And because of the bluesy nature of the tune, though, you may also gravitate towards some blues licks. These can be kind of cool. So if you took your first finger and went low E string on the 3rd fret, third finger on the A string 5th fret, together that makes a G5 power chord. You can kind of get your second finger, if you need to kind of try and get the pinky to kind of stretch to the A string on the 7th fret. So I'm doing a down up on the G5 and then adding in the pinky all the way to the 7th fret on the A. So it's kind of a 3-5 to 3-7 kind of idea for a G lick. And then from there, then you could kind of switch strings to the A and the D string and get that same idea for a C lick. Kind of working down, up, kind of through that part. And then for the D, if you slide that shape over to 5 and 7, you can kind of work your swing note to the 9th fret. Kind of get a blues lick that way. So if we tried our next verse with blues licks, we could have the kind of that G hit, and another G hit, and another G hit, da 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 da, C, G, D, C, G, G. And then from there, we go into a solo part, which kind of matches our intro. Now you could kind of play around with this a lot, actually, especially with the licks. There are a lot of different variations you can do, like adding and subtracting your fingers. Experiment with that. You can kind of using that finger on the same string can be kind of cool. Got a G hit at the end of that solo. And then from there, then we go into our next chorus. So we back to our G, 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 C, or you can mix up all these ideas. G, then we'll be going back into our verse part. So we're back to our G hit, G hit, G hit, and then we kind of pick it back up on our C chord, right? So C, C, G, and we do a big C hit on that last chorus, or that last verse. And that leads us into our outro, and you hear this cool little lick where you can play D on the 2nd fret twice, open D twice, 2nd fret on the D twice, open D, and then we go 4 on the low E, and then 3rd fret on the low E string. It's kind of a G note there. So you're going E, D, D, E, D, A flat, G is kind of the note you're backing it up with. And I really think about adding in an A flat major, actually, especially if you're digging on the G7 bar. You could take that shape and slide it over to 4th fret. So then I got first finger across the entire 4th, second finger on the G string 5th fret, third finger on the A string 7, and that sounds an A flat 7 chord. Or you could even do that 13 shape that we were doing and slide it back 1 fret for the G. Actually, it's kind of that hit at the end. So you have 2 2 0 0 2 2 0 A flat G, kind of in the very end. But that's the basics of how you can strum through Good Golly, Miss Molly by Little Richard. So good luck!